And when I got there, I walked in the front door, and I felt like I walked into a room of alcoholics. I mean, it was just alcohol everywhere. Everybody was drinking, and that was fine by me. It doesn't bother me, but it was like one of those situations. It just felt a little too overwhelming, and there was a lot of people there. So I saw the line off to the right to get a drink, and it was about 3 miles long. So I figured, okay, I'll get at the end of that before I start talking to people. I didn't want to be walking around with nothing in my hand while everybody's drinking alcohol. And I got on this line, and I was talking to people as we were moving like this. It seemed like it took like an hour just to get up to the line. Up to the bar. I get to the bar, and I asked the bartender. I said, I'd like to get a Coke, please. And he said, oh, we don't have sodas here tonight. Okay, that's fine. I said, I'll take one of those sparkling waters that you've got back there. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. The sparkling waters are for mixed drinks only. Well, to say that I was at my best at that moment, I'd be lying to you. I was clearly not. Whatever I said shook him up enough that he gave me my sparkling water. And luckily I watched him the whole time to make sure he didn't spit in it. And I walked off, and I said, okay, I have to shake this off. I'm going to go do a little networking. So I started talking to folks, and I have to be honest with you, I just didn't feel good that night. I wasn't usually I'm a rock star networker. And that night, I wasn't. I just didn't feel good. I wasn't connecting with people. The things that we were talking about just seemed to be going off. And so I just eventually said, you know what, I need to just kind of take a back seat here from networking tonight. Went and I was talking to a group of people. 4 of us were talking, and somebody came over who I didn't really know very well, but I've met him a few times. And so he's handing out his business card, which he did one of the big no-nos, which is he just walked up and started handing out his business cards to everybody without even introducing himself. That's fine. Then somebody says, oh, did Joe do these business cards for you? And his answer was, no, I get these for about 1/4 of the price Joe sells them for on the internet. And I was like, oh. That night just was not going my way. So I said, okay, I'm just going to call it a night. I went home, I left, and when I left, I asked myself, did I get any value out of this event tonight? And the answer straight off was no. I didn't really get any value out of this networking event. We got some business cards, no big deal. I ate a good dinner, and I got to talk to a couple of friends. So I just had to leave it at that. That was, if I got anything out of it, I got that. Well, the next night was Friday night, and I was working at home in my home office. It was pizza night at my home on Friday night, and so I knew we were getting ready to have dinner very shortly. And my phone rang. It was just a little before 6, and I didn't recognize the number, but it was a local number, so I said, okay, I'll answer it. And I answered the phone, and now earlier in the day, I just want to backtrack real quickly. Earlier in the day, I had sent out emails to the handful of people I had met the night before, just saying, and my email goes something like this. Hi, it was very nice to meet you last night at the Business After Hours. I hope you enjoyed the event. I hope to see you again soon. Sincerely, Joe. And I leave it at that. Very simple. So my phone rings. I answer the phone. Hi, this is Joe. Who am I speaking to? And the guy on the other line says, hey, Joe, this is Charlie. Do you remember me last night? We were standing online together to get drinks. And I said, oh, yeah, hey, Charlie, I remember you. How you doing? I said, I don't know, did you get my email earlier today? And Charlie said, well, yeah, that's actually one of the reasons why I'm calling you, Joe. My wife just recently, her company, she owns a company, and they're moving. And they forgot to buy stationery. They forgot to update all their printing, and they're moving next week. And so I wanted, you sent me that message today, and I really found that was very professional of you to do. I appreciated that. So here, hold on, let me put Nancy on the phone. And he puts his wife on the phone. And so within, so here it was, I was thinking that I wasted 2 hours of my time last night. Well, within a week, I got a huge printing order. Because I went to meet Nancy on Wednesday, and the next day they put in this enormous printing order, and honestly, I just spoke to him for a few minutes while we were online to get drinks. Now, at the end of the day, do you think I got value out of that networking event? I really felt like I did, because I ended up getting a nice big order out of that. And it doesn't have to necessarily be a printing order. It could be, for Al, who does real estate, it could just be talking to that one person that could end up buying, it could be the right person that's looking for a home at that moment. Or somebody who's looking to move, they're moving their parents, they want to move their elderly parents over here. It could be that conversation that you're having, Bill. You never know who you're talking to at a networking event. The thing is, if we're standing there talking to people we know only, we're just going to keep getting what we got. And that's one of my things that I like to talk about a lot is. So when I go to a networking event, I know what my goals are. Before you go to the networking event, try to know what your goals are ahead of time before you get there. Don't start trying to ascertain what your goals are going to be for that networking event while you're there. Ascertain those goals ahead of time. See, what I found is that building my contact list is like eating an elephant. You do it one bite at a time. So don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Just take your time and enjoy it, because it really can be a lot of fun. So one of the things that I've done that I had to do over these past few years since I started networking 6 years ago. One of the things, like the real networking that I'm talking about right now, going to events. So one of the things I learned to do was I had to develop a tracking system. What happened to me was I ended up with boxes of business cards. And was like, what do I do with all of these business cards? I'd write notes on them, but what good were those business cards? And before I knew somebody like Cass, who can take your business cards and scan them all in, and get to help you develop a system, I had no idea what to do with them. And it was just so overwhelming and frustrating. So what I do with my business cards is I put them into 3 categories. I have A prospects, B prospects, and C prospects. Now I'm gonna go backwards and talk about the C prospects first, because our C prospects are the folks that we're least likely to be doing business with. So let's get them out of the way. A C prospect is, somebody that now my C prospect may be your A prospect, but as long as they're my C prospect, what I do with them is I take their information, I input it into my system, which I'll talk about in a moment. I input it into my system, and then I will send them the email. I'll send them that "it was nice to meet you" email. And when I send them the email, again, I keep it very short and sweet. James, it was very nice to meet you last night at the Leads group. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you around again soon. And you know what? Unless we run into each other at another networking event, it's very unlikely James is going to hear from me again for about 5 or 6 months. And that's because there's not going to be a lot of synchronicity there. And I'm okay with that. And you know what? I bet you James is okay with that too when that happens. Then then I get to the B prospects. B prospects are people that there's more synchronicity there. There's a potential for us to have, more referrals passing amongst each other. And we might even do some business together. It's not super strong, but there's good possibilities for us to have some business together. So with them, again, I send out that email. I send them the "nice to meet you" email. I also might set up at least one coffee, where we get together and have a coffee together. But I don't spend a lot of time having coffees with my B prospects. The reason why is because I want to save that time, my income producing activity time, I want to save that for my A prospects. So a B prospect, let's say you're in the neighborhood though. You know his office is right here or her office is right there. It's fine to stop in, do a pop in, say hello. But again, you don't want to make that your habit. Because now we have our A prospects. Now I can't say who your A prospects are, but I can tell you some of my A prospects are graphic designers, web designers, promotional item people. I know who my A prospects are. Doctors' offices, if they have a very active marketing director, that's a great A prospect for me. If I meet them at a networking event, you better believe that that's somebody I want to get to know, and I want them to get to know me really well. Know who your A prospects are. That's really important.